And just a quick reminder of live sport coming up this weekend on Jackpot Button Lewis Productions, as we'll be live from the Autodromo Enzo Adino Ferrari for round 7 of the 2024 FIA Formula 1 World Championship with the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix in Imola San Marino, as Max Verstappen continues his lead in the Drivers' Championship, but after a surprise impressive victory from Lando Norris for McLaren in the last round in Miami, the gap in the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship has been made a little bit more shorter. Once again, you can join us from tomorrow afternoon from 3 o'clock with live qualifying, and then the race this Sunday from 2 p.m. Wow, what a view that is just from recreation of that famous park estate. That is going to be incredible. Oh, my apologies everybody, you've caught me looking at the wonderful set for our next programme and also our next episode of Theatregoing Revival. Hello everybody, once again it's me Jack Wright here from Theatregoing Revival, the 5th belated anniversary series on my theatre vlog series, and join me very soon here exclusively live on YouTube as I go to see another musical production. After seeing many plays, it's time to return to what I love and what I do, of course, do best, and that's seeing many musical theatre productions, and this one is all about a very interesting concept, and also based around one of the most famous, of course, that being park and council estates in the very famous Steel City itself of Sheffield. As you can join me for the very exciting and also quite moving musical as I will be covering it, and that being Standing at the Sky's Edge, written by Richard Hawley and also based off one of his famous songs as he wrote back many years ago on an original album. We've got that, and also hopefully we'll be covering the show once again from the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End very soon, in just a few hours time, here exclusively live on YouTube. Hope to see you there. Yeah? Are we ready to go? I know it's getting quite late, but I think we've just got enough time to get the introduction part of this. Okay, well, here we go, everybody. Another exciting episode of Theatregoing Revival. But this time I'm actually joined by my good friend, of course, Ella Gretorix again. I know that she's also been quite busy because she's going to be covering the show later on today as well, so I'm really excited for this one. No, absolutely. I mean, I heard about, I couldn't get over how popular this show was from last year at the Olivier's, and the fact that actually some of the songs in that were based off actual real-life events that happened at that Park Hill estate in Sheffield is incredible. But I have actually seen snippets of the show, and I'm really looking forward to covering this. I mean, it's going to be an amazing show to cover. Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I'm really looking forward to it. I think it, as I can see here, I mean, it's already been praised a lot in the newspapers since last year. It's going to be incredible. Alright then, let's get on with the show then. Have a good show, everybody. Let's do it. accent. I don't think I could do anything better than that. Well, hello everybody, what's up guys? And once again, it's me, Jack Wright here, also known as Jackpot Button Lewis on YouTube and Real Next Gen King Henry VIII on Instagram here. And welcome to another edition of my 5th belated anniversary series of Theatregoing Revival, my theatre review vlog series. And with this episode of Theatregoing to Revival that's happening right now today, this one has been another completely unexpected episode. As you can tell, I'm actually just on my own this time. I'm not got a live audience this time. The reason is, of course, because of the musical that we are covering in today's show. Now, this one that we are going to be covering on today's edition of Theatregoing Revival has been very popular since last year after its incredible award run sweep at the Oliviers last year for getting also Best West End Musical, and it's all surrounded and it's all based around a very familiar place which towers over the famous steel city itself of Sheffield in South Yorkshire. And for some of you who have no idea what this musical is, as we go straight on to talking about it, it's based off also one very famous song and also a childhood song about his time living and growing up in that very familiar council estate, and that being Park Hill Estate in, once again, the city of Sheffield. As today here on Theatregoing Revival, I'm going to see the very exciting and unique and also recently popular Standing at the Sky's Edge.
3 mornings, decades apart. A castle built of streets in the sky.
As the dawn breaks over roofs slates, hope
3 households decades apart, sharing one roof, one hope, to matter to someone.
as the light creeps over the house.
I'm starting over, not running away.
And the sleigh
New lick of paint, new lease of life. Right time for a new set of people.
in this morning.
I'm gonna look after you. Don't you worry.
Everything we need is right here.
There's a part of this city that's gone, right? And I don't think it's coming back.
And she
Should have torn the old place down when they had the chance.
No. Life in it yet.
Wow, that does look amazing there. So there you go, everybody. We actually managed to find 2 trailers of that particular show of Standing at the Sky's Edge, because initially the show started off in, of course, the city itself of Sheffield, where unbelievably that's where it started. But then just recently, from last year, or just from a few years before the pandemic hit, it then went to the National Theatre in London, and then as of recently it has just started its run in the West End at the Gillian Lynne Theatre, and I'm very excited to be getting the chance to go and see it. And also as well, I happen to have known that on behalf of a very good friend of mine, I'll be seeing it with her as well. That's right, everybody, I think you might know who I'm on about, and it's wonderful for me to be seeing the show with her as well, because I know she's very excited to see one person in particular, that being Rachel Wooding, of course, who previously played Kit DeLuca in Pretty Woman the Musical from just a few years ago, and in the West End. Before the pandemic hit. But just to remind you all, if you don't know what Standing at the Sky's Edge is, once again it is a multi-award-winning new musical, and once again it won Best New Musical, an Olivier Award from last year's Oliviers. It won the UK Theatre Award for Best Musical Production, and also the South Bank Sky Arts Award, and also for its being a very popular an upcoming musical production, and it's also been hailed as the best British musical in decades by the newspaper The Daily Express, and it's a kaleidic portrait of life on an ever-changing estate, that being the Park Hill estate, which is unbelievably still actually exists also, and it remains to this day in the heart and the city of course, the Steel City itself of Sheffield, and it's charting the highs and lows and loves and losses of 3 generations of people over 6 tumultuous, I think that's how you say the word there, decades. So starting off in the early 60s, or I think the late 60s when it was first built, and then also right up to modern day as well. And it's set to the irresistible songs of legendary, of course, also Sheffield-born also singer and songwriter himself, of Richard Hawley, with a beautiful, hilarious and gut-wrenching book by Chris Bush, and this deeply moving and monumental musical, as reviewed by the Daily Telegraph newspaper, reveals the history of modern Britain through the stories of the landmark Park Hill estate in a heartfelt exploration of the power of community and what is we all call home. And it's going to be running until the 3rd of August, as I'm currently, as I said, on my phone here. I've got information about the show on my phone here. But also, with that being said, also for some of you who may not have even heard of course, that familiar council estate in Sheffield, we also have got a little video on how actually Richard Hawley came up with the idea for the musical, plus also, as I mentioned already, her name being Rachel Wooding. She is currently the born and bred member of the cast, playing the role of Rose in the show, and even though that she wasn't born in Sheffield, she was originally from Doncaster, but she is around that similar area in South Yorkshire. She actually recently been living there during her early life before she then moved to London, and we can find out a little bit more about that famous, of course, estate, and what made, once again, Richard want to write, once again, the new musical itself, of Standing at the Sky's Edge.
Hi, I'm Rachel Wooding and I play Rose in Standing at the Sky's Edge, and we're here at Park Hill today to see how this building and this wonderful city inspired the musical.
Well, Park Hill's a real Marmite kind of thing. Sorry to use that old cliche, but it sums it up perfectly. People either love it or they hate it. Relatively cheap housing was the solution to the problems of post-war Britain that lasted right up until the 70s, you know.
In 1998, Park Hill was listed.
So it was a bit controversial, wasn't it?
It was controversial.
Because some people wanted it gone.
Yeah, because when it opened in the 60s, it was a solution to slum clearance. You had hot
story,
water,
well, Rose's story.
You had space.
If you start like researching it and things like that, you hear like, oh no, nobody wanted to go there or stuff like that. But actually, when you really talk to like the people, they have amazing memories.
Stop. Joanne, sorry.
This is Joanne.
This is Joanne. You know Rachel, obviously from the musical.
No, I'm in the show. Yes. I don't look like this.
I feel like I know what. It feels as though somebody wrote my story and then broke it all up and then threw it on stage.
So
I can relate to everything. Do you know, because I was born on here and I've lived on here all my life. I feel as though I'm a narrated story.
And you could sit there and tell you your own life story and it would resonate again.
What's so wonderful about this musical is it's Richard Hawley's music. And Richard Hawley
is Sheffield born and bred.
Is, you know, just part of Sheffield.
I write songs about what I know. You know, I don't want to imagine what it's like to live in Venice or imagine what it's like to live in New York. But I draw on the city because its stories and its people are so powerful. You know, I don't need anything else.
Same with the book with Chris Bush. I remember getting this script through and saying, oh, you've got this. And it's not like you know what this thing is because it's brand new and so you don't know what you're doing. Her book, her words, it's like, I know these people. I know, I might not know Rose Stanhope, but I know somebody, and that's the thing about this show.
It's real.
It's real. She knows how to break hearts and put them back together. Yeah, it's set in Sheffield. Yes, it's about Park Hill, but it's about like 3 different families. I mean, we literally hone in on one flat. The hope and the sadness, all of those things that happen in any families. But what's amazing is even though we're saying, oh, it's Sheffield, that first look, Rose, we're from Sheffield, born and bred. Second one, Liberian refugees, completely different. It is a city of refuge. It's for people who have got nothing else and they get put in this place. They don't have a choice of where they're going to live. Going to our third timeline when, you know, our character Poppy's moving from London, she's running from something. Of course, it is about Sheffield because this stands in Sheffield, but it's about people and relationships and how do you survive.
Park Hill is very symbolic, you know, and you see it when you enter the city. Whatever ventricle of travel that you choose, whether it be rail or road or coach or whatever, Park Hill's there. It's a constant reminder of bad times and good, you know. Cheers, Shirl.
Wow, that is absolutely amazing. And of course, just recently, the West End cast, the current West End cast of Standing at the Sky's Edge, got the chance once again to go to that very same place to do a photo shoot, tying in with the show. But as you did see the trailer earlier on when we introduced the musical to you all, they amazingly have recreated that very famous council estate of Park Hill in Sheffield on the stage, and it just looks incredible, and I can't wait to see it up close later on in this episode. And as I've said, guys, I mean, there's not much to talk about with this one. Of course, I am going in quite blind with this musical, but from what I've been hearing quite recently about it, I know that I am really in for a treat. And just like, because also there's some quite heart-wrenching stories that is mentioned in this musical throughout throughout the actual show itself. And I think it will actually might tug at our heartstrings again, just a bit like when I saw Why I Stuck a Flare at My Ass for England, the last play that I did see. Of course, if you have not seen that episode, I definitely recommend you see it. But you have to be 18 or over before watching that, because there is some strong language in that as well, just to remind you all. But, well, with that being said, also, I don't think there's much to say about this show, and I think the time has come with no other, of course, things to say. It's time, once again, to head back to the West End of London, and more specifically, for the first time, to the Gillian Lynne Theatre, as we go and see the current West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge, once again, from the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End. Here's what happened when I went to see the show. Enjoy, everyone! And just like that, here we are outside the Gillian Lynne Theatre, all ready for the very exciting West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge. As you can tell, I've made a quick change, and now, just for as a one-off for this show, I am going very appropriately dressed in my own Sheffield United football shirt and scarf, being a football fan, since of course it is one of the popular clubs, football clubs, that is part of the city, and a very popular one alongside Sheffield Wednesday for that matter as well, and the two clubs that are very popular, and the Steel City itself of Sheffield. But as I said, here we are, of course, about just half an hour away from seeing the show, and of course I'll be joining up with my good friend Ella Gretorix very, very shortly to see this very exciting new musical, all based on true events in the very famous, of course, Park Hill Estate in the heart of the city of that is Sheffield. So without further ado, let's go and see, here from the Gillian Lynne Theatre, the West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge, here from the Gillian Lynne Theatre, here in London's West End.
was misguided. He carried a blade. So much fear in the city carried him away. Young men are fighting and losing their lives. Night is a screech owls in the trees watch young men die. They were standing at the
Wow, that sounded absolutely unbelievable from the live orchestra there. That was absolutely incredible. Well, everybody, unfortunately, that is once again all the footage I could have got from the current West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge from the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End. You join me, of course, back here in my studio, in my bedroom, obviously very appropriately themed around Six the Musical. Obviously very different to the show that we're covering here on once again, the 5th belated anniversary and revival themed series of Theatregoing Revival. But, and of course, as you can see, also I happen to be wearing the very same shirt that I wore just a few days ago from when I saw the show. If I had not said already, guys, this actually, of course, I took a lot of inspiration from some people who were dressing up in very similar costumes. And this is an actual proper football shirt of Sheffield United from back in 2006, I think it was. And in the 2000 to 2007 season, from 2006 to 2007, and this was the kit that the team wore. Obviously nicknamed the Blades for the emblem that, of course, is of their of the name of one of the famous football teams from the city of Sheffield. Sheffield Wednesday is their rival club. For some of you know that they famously have their derby matches known as the Steel City Derby, and they are in, of course, blue and white stripes, while once again Sheffield United wear, of course, like I said, once again, red and white stripes. But as I've said already, guys, I actually got this shirt especially for the show, along with, of course, a scarf that I wore around my neck. It's currently in the hallway of of course, of here up in the upper half and upstairs area of my house here, but I don't want to get it because, once again, guys, I've got most of the stuff that I want to show you that I got from the show, because also for the very first time I have also, even though this is my first time only seeing the show, I managed to get some merchandise as well. And of course we are going to be covering and talking about, briefly of course, we're not going to ramble too much on about me reviewing the show, because also as well, if you might be wondering why there was no stage door footage from just a few days ago for when I saw the show with my friend Ella, that is because unfortunately the show finished quite at a very late time in the evening, and even though we did get a chance to see a few of the cast members come out, from the theatre. Unfortunately, people, because of the time it finished, I think around about 10:30, I think it was coming up to almost 11 o'clock or 10:30 in the evening. And some were very desperate to get back to travelling back to where they were living just for doing the show. So unfortunately I couldn't do a stage door because of that, which was a bit disappointing. But all that aside, guys, the most important thing is of course the show. And from what I remember, even though it was a few days ago, it was, let me tell you something, guys, one of the most miraculous shows that I think I've ever seen so far in all of the shows that I've covered here so far in this series of Theatregoing Revival. I'm meaning that for one, that, as I said, since it's based on the real location once again of the Park Hill Flats estate in once again the city of Sheffield, and just to have this amazing story been brought to life, written by the amazing Chris Bush and also set to the songs of the very famous, of course, punk rock singer and musician, that being Richard Hawley. You did see a little snippet there of the title song itself, sung by the whole cast, which I managed to get an amazing live recording from when I saw the show. It's one of my favourite songs from the show, but there were so many great songs in it, and also as well, the whole show as a whole, as I repeat myself there saying whole twice, was definitely, I think it actually exceeded my expectations, may I add, I have to say. I think one, because I never thought it was going to be an immersive production. There were loads of times where people of the ensemble were walking or dancing in certain spotlights that were right in, like, from the very front of the aisles around the theatre, and just basically going past also the audience as well. It was such an immersive show, and I can't believe that a show like that, since seeing Newsies last year, has actually come that close. And as well as that, I think also the cast were incredible. The idea of having people from certain eras, my apologies, there of starting from the early 60s to when the Park Hill Flats estate was first built, to all the way up to the modern day. Of course, I remember, I think it went to 2012 actually. 2020, my apologies. And this was before, of course, the COVID-19 pandemic hit. But when I saw that year come up, this was obviously before the pandemic hit, because it was actually performed just a few years ago, originally at a local theatre in Sheffield, and then just from earlier on in the programme, it did get a chance to be performed at the National Theatre in London, and then unbelievably, just from earlier on this year, it got its time in the limelight in London's West End, once again at the Gillian Lynne Theatre, from just earlier on this year as well. And with also that being said, since the production had been open for the last few months, it has gone down an absolute storm. The reviews, if you did see earlier on from the footage that we showed you earlier on from outside of the theatre, were just incredible. And as I said, guys, it was a very unique and I think quite sky-high production, pardon the pun, of course, since that's tying in with how the estate in the beautifully recreated also and built, of course, as the set in the show, having the amazing orchestra that played live music right from in the middle of it. You can also see a picture on your screen right now of what the stage looked like. And also there was that really cool, of course, graffiti of "I love you, will you marry me?" Which actually was on, I think, one of the causeways in connection to that estate area. And that was a real life piece of graffiti that actually stayed on there. I know there was times when people from the time in the story that may have considered wanting to get rid of that graffiti, but then it became quite a signature piece of that estate when people were living there at the time. And also, as I've said already, if I had not said also, even though they were focusing on one particular flat in the estate where all of the, of course, the stories, three different families coming from three very different backgrounds and living in, of course, three specific decades and years. Of course, throughout their story, they never, of course, interacted with each other until at the very end, which I thought was really, really cool. And also as well, I think it was amazing how the show was performed, where lines of dialogue were said with one couple from one era, and then just tying it in and following on with the others. And it was very clever how they did it. And as well as that, they also had unique events in certain time periods. I think one that did stand out to me very well, which I know from my mum's behalf, even though she never got a chance to see the show, she grew up, of course, when she was really young at the time. I think through when the mining strikes of back in the early 80s happened. There was a nod to that when the miners' strike happened from that time period as well during the story. And there was the likes of also when England were playing in the World Cup in the late 70s, and then to also the that being also, I think, the late 80s for that matter too. And as well as that, also a nod to specific events that happened in the city of Sheffield at the time. It was very clever how they managed to merge so much history from different periods, which was put on stage, and to have it all just being played out in front of you was just incredible. And also, I weren't expecting a riot at the end of the first act as well, where bits of paper were being thrown out of the balconies on the estate. You hear police sirens and blue flashing lights. And literally the pieces of paper even were thrown into the audience, so you felt like you were really part of the story, and that took me completely by surprise. And if you don't know me, I absolutely love immersive theatre. It's one of my favourite styles of theatre, and also storytelling as well on stage, also for that matter too. And it was truly incredible, and the last song, As the Dawn Breaks, the reprise sung by Rachel Wooding's character, Rose, at the end, was so beautiful, and it moved me to tears. It was an incredible, as a whole production, it was truly astounding, and as I said, I don't think there's any other words for me to say, but with also that being said, I think also I can go swiftly straight on to my show rating for this. And once again, for the current West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge at the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End, with an amazing production value, once again, for the set design, and also as well with the costumes as well. Very, very, of course, very apt of certain time periods as well, which I mean, I'm starting to see that more often now with particular musicals, since I've done that myself, unbelievably. And it's nice to see that that's become more of a frequent thing with this production, which I think is a truly a great addition to it also too. And just also for the music, also telling the story as well. And I know that once again, since the song Standing at the Sky's Edge was originally a song by Richard Hawley, who wrote originally on his 2012 album of the same name, did tell some very unique, of course, moments in the story of his time growing up in that same area in the city of Sheffield. And seeing that, unbelievably, some of the lines of course, of the lyrics to the song actually foreshadowing events in the later second act of the show was just literally blew my mind. I thought it was just mind-blowing just to see that actually all happening on stage. So, well, as I said, with without anything else to say, my official show rating once again here on my 5th belated anniversary and revival themed series of Theatregoing. My show rating for the current West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge from the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End, without a doubt, and I think it deserves all the accolade that it has, and I hope that goes on from strength to strength, even when the show does finish later on in the summer at the start of the month of August. I am proud to say that the show gets officially a 5-star rating and I highly recommend it. Yes, everybody, I feel like it thoroughly deserved a 5-star rating here, and especially with all of the amazing, of course, reviews it's just had recently. Especially, of course, I can actually quickly say with some of the merchandise that I got here, of course, I managed to get the wonderful, that is, of course, the actual playbook and script of the actual show itself. Once again, written by Chris Bush and with music and lyrics by Richard Hawley. And I can actually quickly read you some of the reviews that this show had right at the very beginning when it actually it first went to the West End, or even actually when it first went to London, of course, from last year also. And one of the particular reviews of the show by the Daily Express, which I think was quite one of the outstanding ones that has been acknowledged even out from outside of the Gillian Lynne Theatre. The Daily Express newspaper said, the best British musical in decades. The Times newspaper said, moving and resonant, I think that's how they say it, or resonant. I don't know how to say that word. I am familiar with that. I do apologise if I'm saying that wrong there, but magnificent after that. From the Times newspaper review there. An exhilarating, big-hearted musical, superb, said the Financial Times. Spine-tingling, a glorious love letter indeed from the Guardian newspaper. A real tear-jerker, rich in pathos, or pathos, I think how they say that there, from the Independent newspaper. The Evening Standard newspaper said, one of our most prolific and arresting writers, a bold step forward for musical theatre. And also the Stage newspaper also says here, deserves to be seen far and wide and watched again and again. Well, I think that's actually very appropriately also said here. Also from What's on Stage, also it's said here, it's hailed as the most exciting new British musical in years. And it was originally written as a love letter to the city of Sheffield, charting the hopes and dreams of 3 generations over the course of 6 tumultuous decades and 60 years of course, living on that same estate, navigating universal themes of love, loss and survival. With irresistible songs by legendary singer-songwriter Richard Hawley and a beautiful, hilarious and gut-wrenching book by Chris Bush, Standing at the Sky's Edge reveals the history of modern Britain through the stories of a landmark housing estate. It is a heartfelt exploration of the power of community and what is we call home. And just to remind you all also, if you did not know about this show already, since I've now got the book here, it was first performed at the Sheffield Theatres in 2019, directed by the director Robert Hastie, before transferring to the National Theatre last year in 2023 in London, and then just recently also at the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End this year in 2024. And just recently, at last year's Laurence Olivier Awards, it won the Olivier Award for Best New Musical, the UK Theatre Award for Best Musical Production, and the South Bank Sky Arts Channel Award for Theatre. So there you go, everybody, and for most of you who may not have known also that both Chris and also Richard are also proud residents also of the city of Sheffield, and I remember very well that when they did walk away with Best New Musical from last year at the Olivier Awards, they were very, very proud to walk away with that award as well. And of course, very different to this year now, because of course the Best New Musical was, that award was given to the incredible revival production of the classic Andrew Lloyd Webber show of Sunset Boulevard, which will be heading to Broadway very, very soon from later on this year. But as I said also, as well as getting the play script of the show, I've also got the programme here, as you can see here. The beautiful branding there, of course, of the Park Hill Flats Estate, with these beautiful colours of sky blue and also navy blue and a bit of orange and pink and yellow there, also showing the beautiful abstract sunrise there of course of how the show starts. It was beautifully done also on stage when I first saw it, when the lighting of the show when it started, when the workmen working on the trying to possibly consider demolishing the estate, but they of course since they were there to start or open up the show singing the title song once again as the dawn breaks, they have a little bit of a moment of reminiscing about the history of the building. So, and as I've said before, with the title of the show, Standing at the Sky's Edge, it was nicknamed Streets in the Sky, that estate. So it's got a very well-known, of course, place of being quite well-known in the city of course, of Sheffield. And it literally towers almost everywhere from across the city. I mean, no matter where you are, if you go to the city of Sheffield, you will see those, of course, signature and of course, iconic flat, of course, estate area there. And of course, I think, especially, I do remember saying to one of the ushers as I left the theatre, I would happily go to there, hopefully in the future. And especially from what I did see, going back to my rating there of 5 stars and I highly recommend it, I would happily see it again, honestly. I think it was truly a unique and I think quite groundbreaking musical production as well. I think it's actually been the best one that I've seen for a few years actually. I know that I did say that my favourite from last year had to be the production at the Troubadour Wembley Park Theatre of Newsies last year, but I think Standing at the Sky's Edge is definitely just been as equally as good as Newsies from last year. And yeah, honestly guys, as I said, I don't think I don't want to compare any more than just to focus on this one. But it was a real good show, guys. And as of course, also, if I have not said already, I think it was very appropriate because I did love the branding of the show, just like on the programme. I've just recently, because I'm planning to wear this tomorrow anyway, for the first time. And even though this is, it looks quite big, it's only an extra large in size, but there is, of course, the official poster t-shirt of the branding of the show there on the front. And it looks amazing, doesn't it, guys? Well, as I said before, I'm very fortunate enough to have got most of this. And it's nice, actually, like I said before, to have the play book as well of the show. Because of I just was really keen on seeing all of the history behind it, and getting a bit of a knowing of what to expect from the show. Hopefully, I'm sure it will definitely have a very hopeful and promising future. I don't know where it will go, of course, from the start of in the month of August when the run will finish, but there is still time for you to still go and see it. And once again, like I said, Standing at the Sky's Edge is going to be running at the Gillian Lynne Theatre from the first week of August, and like I said, it's been open for a few months now, but it will be going on there for a few more months into the end of the summer. But also, once again, guys, I highly recommend that you go and see it, because literally it was a very moving, very touching, and without a doubt a high sky also, of course, a sky high production, of course, scale production of any that I've seen, any other shows I've seen currently in London's West End so far this year. So with that concludes my show review once again of the current West End production of Standing at the Sky's Edge from the Gillian Lynne Theatre in London's West End. But unbelievably, that's not the end of the show just yet, because we have also now, since we were last at the theatre, there's still been a lot of big exciting things happening from in the world and also the industry of, once again, both musical theatre and also, unbelievably, from the world of pop music as well. Well, we're also going to tell you all that as it's time once again for the return of this feature here on Theatregoing Revival, as it's time for another edition of another Theatregoing News Update. Yes, that's right, everybody. You didn't think you would see this feature make a return in just a few episodes now, would you? Well, like I said just earlier on, there's been lots of news going on in the world of, once again, the theatre industry. And, oh my goodness me, well, out of completely nowhere, we have now also just got some news that's just come in, and we are about to have, for the first time ever, even on any other of my theatre-going themed, of course, series or programmes, it's time for the first ever Theatre-Going News Flash. Yes, can you clarify that this has actually just been confirmed recently? Okay, thank you very much. Well, as I was just about to say, I can confirm from our production team here, once again on Theatregoing Revival, that for the first time ever in our first ever Theatregoing News Flash, we can also confirm that, unbelievably, one of quite a very well-known pop band, even though they've only just been around for, when they were only around initially for over a year, but for some of you who had not known already, one of the cheesiest pop music acts in the British pop music industry itself, of the Fast Food Rockers, have just confirmed that after 21 years, they have officially announced they are going to be reuniting and also performing a very appropriate celebratory reunion, of course, music gig at the Pride Festival event of Lincoln Pride. And as I've said before, guys, if you are not familiar with this pop band, the Fast Food Rockers were a British bubblegum pop / novelty band, and they originally were formed back almost 21 years ago now, since June 2003, sorry, my apologies. And the band consists of 3 band members, that being Lucy Meggitt and also Rhea Scott Blythe, as of currently her name there, and also Martin Rycroft, 2 girls and 1 male member. And they first met each other at a fast food convention-themed event in Folkestone back in 2003, after when they all auditioned at Pineapple Dance Studios. And unbelievably, even though she came originally fresh from being a Butlins Redcoat, Rhea Scott Blythe, originally her name being her stage name Rhea Scott before she got married. That's of course by her being her maiden name, because she got married many years later after leaving the band. She became the lead vocal member, the lead vocalist, and also she chose both Lucy and Martin as the other 2 members of the group. Initially they were going to be a 4-piece band, a pop band with 4 members, but the founders of the band, once again, that being, of course, very famous music mogul himself of Mike Stock and Steve Crosby, who unbelievably also, for some of you that may not know already, as we might have mentioned his name once before on here, is the brainchild behind the very other famous British mixed gender pop band of Steps. And as I've just confirmed here, as I've said before, they are going to be appearing at Lincoln Pride, and they are going to be performing on the 17th of September. Tickets haven't been on sale just yet, but I know that you can also catch up also on a recently, of course, made fan page, which unbelievably happened also that I have got some involvement in also as well. And you can also check that out, and it's currently also on Instagram as Fast Food Rockers fan page, and it's all dedicated to the history of the band. But they've also they've just updated also with the recent announcement of them performing there, and I'm very excited to also hopefully say that I will be heading over there very, very soon, because I've been in recent contact with the band members. They've been very supportive of my Instagram also as well, of Rio Next Gen King Henry VIII also on that matter too. And very exciting indeed to see that. I really am looking forward to seeing the band. Even though, as I said before, they didn't do as successfully as other, of course, mixed gender pop bands have done in the past from the early 2000s, but they are really excited to be back performing for the first time in 21 years. And also, with that being said, we can also give you a quick exclusive on also some recent rehearsals that they have been doing at Sutton Dance School, also all the way up in the, I think it's the place, more specifically of, what is the place? Hang on a minute. It's Northwich. There we go, Northwich in Cheshire, which also unbelievably, band member Lucy Mega originated from when she was born there. So, but here's a little few snippets of some exclusive footage of the band rehearsing for their upcoming gig once again at Pride Festival of Lincoln Pride later on this summer in the month of August. I feel like they really seem to be enjoying themselves. I can tell that they're very close friends. Even when they were only just together for just over a year, their friendships have never faded away in the last 21 years. So that's wonderful to see. And as I've said already, guys, you can also go to the official website of www.lincolnpride.co.uk, and there'll be more information about how to get tickets. They haven't confirmed a venue yet, but I know that, weirdly enough, when I found out that they were going to be performing at that Pride Festival, it was going to be at a place called Tentacross Street, right in the centre, I think, of the city of Lincoln. So, but that's all I can tell you guys. I'm not sure if that is definite yet. It is to be confirmed, as it says on the website, and I've got it on my phone right here. But really exciting to see, of course, one of my childhood pop bands coming back, and definitely, of course, in just like with one of their famous songs of Say Cheese Smile Please, they're definitely saying Pride for this year. Anyway, of course, enough about that. Let's move on to other stories, once again here on Theatregoing News Updates. So in other news on the Theatregoing news update, we start with another article, once again unbelievably from whatsonstage.com, as we mentioned them from earlier on, and unbelievably from just a few days ago it has been confirmed by one of the people that is writing on behalf of the website of whatsonstage.com. That is the director of Bartlett Share will be giving an update on, unbelievably, the very famous musical-themed film of La La Land. There is going to be a stage musical that's currently in the works and is in the middle of workshops at the moment, and as I've said already, award-winning director, an exclusive here from whatsonstage.com, the award-winning director Bartlett Share is, or Shear, sorry, I think that's how her or his name is said here, is currently in the UK overseeing the eagerly anticipated and huge revival production of other musical of Kiss Me Kate. But yeah, it's a he here, my apologies. But he also had time to give us a few juicy tidbits on another musical endeavour, and that being the stage version of the film musical of La La Land. The film originally a winner of 6 Academy Awards, including Best Original Score and also Best Original Song. And the much film starred Ryan Gosling. Of course, for most of you who remember, he was quite well known for being in the recent film of Barbie from last year, playing Ken, the main Ken character. And also Emma Stone, who also had been in a recent film. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but she'd been very, very popular at the Oscars and also the BAFTA Film Awards recently for her role in one particular other film from last year. But it does actually say here that as an actress and a jazz musician of the characters they played, they make ends meet in Hollywood, and originally written and directed by Damien Chazelle, famous for the film of Whiplash, if some of you might remember that, starring the great J.J. Simmons, who played one of the lead roles in that film. And he also happened to make an appearance in La La Land too, also as one of the ensemble characters in that as well. And also Justin Pasek, and also Justin... I think that is Justin Paul, I think there. Well known for writing lyrics, of course. Justin Hurwitz done the music score, and also Dear Evan Hansen writing duo, and also of The Greatest Showman, Pasek and Paul have said they are working on it also, just like from the original film that they worked on. The numbers from the musical including Someone in the Crowd, Another Day of Sun, and City of Stars. The stage production was revealed, first revealed back in February of last year, with Shear on directing duties, and the book is set to come courtesy of Pulitzer Prize winner Ayad Akhtar, my apologies there for saying his surname wrong, and Matthew Decker. Since then the situation has been a bit quieter until now, as Shear has gave us a small insight into the current state of proceedings, confirming the show is still very much in development, and he said, I am still working on La La Land, and we are working with producer Mark Platt, who is also the general producer of the West End production of Wicked, so it's in the same group. And once again, he continues, we're in the middle of workshops and trying to find a theatrical language for this amazing film. So we're in the middle of that right now. And when I'm done with this, that being the current production, revival production of Kiss Me Kate, I go back to New York for some more workshops. And performance dates are yet to be, of course, confirmed and even announced. They're unknown here. And we'd be fascinated to see who is in those workshops. Hopefully London will follow New York. And we can also find out about this because we've also got an exclusive video also from whatsonstage.com on the current, the situation and the current progress with this upcoming production. Once again, a stage musical based off the very famous musical film itself of La La Land.
I am still working on La La Land. We are with actually Mark Platt, who is the producer of Wicked, right? Same group. And we're in the middle of workshops and trying to find a theatrical language for this amazing film. So we're in the middle of that right now. And when I'm done with this, I go back to New York for some workshops on it.
Well, exciting stuff in the works there indeed there. So hopefully we'll be seeing that very, very soon. And honestly, I'm very excited because I remember seeing the original film of La La Land back many years ago. And I remember some of the songs from that musical, also film in particular, were used unbelievably by the local theatre group, which I've been a big supporter of for many years now. For now, almost 10 years actually, for that being said, of KD Theatre Productions. It was actually the song Another Day of Sun, the opening song from that musical film, was actually used as one of the opening songs of the very first professional pantomime production that KD Theatre Productions did. Once again, written, produced and directed by the founder, once again, of KD Theatre Productions, of Daniel Bell, and he also played the role of Dame Patricia Trott as well in that. And it was wonderful to see that being a huge part of that particular production as well, with the songs from that very famous film. So very exciting to hopefully see that be in the works in the future. And as we move on to our next story here, and sticking on also with upcoming shows as well, but unbelievably, just like what we had from the last time we covered any other show at the moment, one of the famous hit new musicals of fantastically great women who changed the world is set to return to the West End of London, and has been offered a West End transfer to the Other Palace. And as it has just been announced also from Alex Wood here on whatsonstage.com here, that the show will open at the venue from the 20th of July. And it is, of course, the winning piece that was well known for getting a UK Theatre Award, and it's based off a book, a very famous picture book, and that I can't exactly remember who wrote it, but for some of you who might not remember what the show is all about, I am familiar with the work, by the way, guys. I just haven't had the chance to see it yet. And it follows a young girl who leaves class to meet a variety of iconic women from history, such as Frida Kahlo, Rosa Parks, Amelia Earhart, Mary Curie, Emmeline Pankhurst, to name just a few. And there we go, I was just about to say that it is based on Kate Pankhurst's, so I think that's in some relation to Emmeline. I think that might have been a cousin, of course, because some of you who might not know, she was a very famous, well-known female activist, and she won the right to vote for women in politics, of course, back in the Edwardian period, and she led the suffragette movement during the Edwardian period as well. And yes, as I said before, it is based on the picture book of Kate Pankhurst's picture book of the same name, and had previously toured around all the UK during the years of 2021, 2022 and 2023. Written also, unbelievably, by Chris Bush, from, once again, as we mentioned her name, from who also wrote the book of Standing at the Sky's Edge, and Miranda Cooper, and directed by Amy Hodge. The production set and features costume design from Joanna Scotcher, choreography by Danielle Lecointi, and associate choreography from Jackie Kibuka, and assistant choreography from Rachel Sirian, and lighting by Zoe Spur, and sound also from Carolyn Downing and Rob Bettel. Casting by Rosie Pearson, and music orchestrations and music production by Cooper and Jennifer D. Silvio. Live arrangements by Jen Green, additional music production by Nick Kohler, and musical direction by Audra Kramer, and assistant musical direction by Nicola T. Chang. And once again, just to clarify, the show will run from the Other Palace Theatre from the 20th of July to the 8th of September, with tickets going on general sale from Monday. And I think as of that, unbelievably, that happens to be the current day at the moment of filming this on the 20th of May. So tickets are on sale right now. So I think you can also go to the official website of the show there and we don't know exactly what it is, but I'm sure it'll be on your screen right now. And of course, I'm definitely quite interested to seeing this. I know it's almost kind of a similar successor to the likes of Six, since I've been a big fan of that, and I saw the show not too long ago, from just a few weeks ago, with another Royal West End sing-along performance. But another musical they're definitely having a look at, and it's also been given a bit of a modern twist, just like Six as well. So another one to definitely have a look at as we come towards this summer. And finally, as our last story to cover here on the Theatregoing news update for this episode, unbelievably, just from last week, we've also just had some recent news of famous American singer, pop singer, who's been currently touring across the world right now, of Taylor Swift, as she is also unbelievably has applied for Female Rage the Musical trademark. And she dropped the term in one of her live concerts from last week of her tour currently. And there's also been rumours going around that possibly a stage show could be happening, or and jukebox musical based off her songs. And it started off as a casual reference in a live gig that she's been doing quite recently, but this could be the start of a Taylor Swift musical extravaganza. And as recently she took to the stage as part of her ongoing Eras tour, and it's now reached Europe for its current leg. And during performances of her most recent album, The Tortured Poets Department, Swift referred to the sequence as Female Rage the Musical. And as it turns out that the casual reference might mean more than first assumed. And on Friday night, last Friday, the actual company that served under the management, who are management do Taylor Swift, TAS Rights and Management, filed an application for the trademark of Female Rage the Musical. And the mark is intended to cover the likes of downloadable electronic sheet music, musical sound recordings, audio recordings featuring music and musical entertainment, digital publications, namely, and books, booklets, and book excerpts in the fields of entertainment, music, and musical entertainment, recorded on computer media, and more. Of course, this could be a branding exercise for merchandise, but there is no reason not to dream. Once again, this is also from a nationwide application, or also article from Alex Wood here, or from, once again, whatsonstage.com. The presence of, once again, Taylor Swift on the stage world has been eagerly awaited, despite her appearance in, fortunately, the flopped film, musical film of Cats. The music of Taylor Swift has never made it to the West End or Broadway recently. But at one stage, her music was tutored to appear in hit musical, jukebox musical of Anne Juliet, but it was not present in the final production that was then performed later on in across the UK, and then finally, eventually after that, the West End at the Shaftesbury Theatre. And also, unbelievably, she did initially audition for the role of Eponine in the 2012 film version of Les Miserables, but did not get the role. She lost out to a very famous fellow person and stage performer who's played the role previously of Samantha Barks. But currently, Taylor Swift's tour continues well into next year of 2025 with a recorded version of course, that concert, minus the Tortured Poet Department songs featured in the same show, and is available now to watch also on Disney+. Well, everybody, that concludes another edition of the Theatregoing Revival News Update, and of course, as I've said before, that is some very big stories that have just happened in just the last few weeks from covering once again the show of Standing at the Sky's Edge. but there's still more to come. And with also that being said, since we are nearly out of time for this edition of Theatregoing Revival, there's also still a lot of more exciting shows that are coming, also not just to the UK, but also some other exciting events that could be possibly planned from in the next few months as we go once again, as we hit the halfway point of this year of 2024. Coming soon to Theatregoing Revival.
How will it play out, do you think, if you don't prioritise getting well?
I'm not sick. I'm not going to say I'm an alcoholic and a drug addict. I'm not going to say I'm powerless or I surrender. I shouldn't be here. We are not defective. It's the world that's If there is a higher power, then strike me down. I want to live. I want to live vividly. I want to make huge, heroic, spectacular mistakes, because what else is there?
Soccer Aid for UNICEF is returning to London. It's on Sunday the 9th of June at Stamford Bridge.
And tickets are on sale now.
Let's go!
England take on the Soccer Aid World 11.
And this is your chance to get up close and personal.
With new faces.
Come on!
And fan favourites. And as always, we've got an unmissable halftime show.
Nothing beats watching Soccer Aid for UNICEF live. So what are you waiting for?
Buy your tickets today.
And raise money to support UNICEF in protecting the right to play for every child.
Prices start at £20 for adults
and only £10 for kids.
Sunday, 9th of June, Stamford Bridge. See you there.
I can't wait!
Yes, everybody, we already did, of course, cover this quite recently, but there's not much time left, everybody, as, of course, we can also quickly remind you that in just a few weeks' time, it is going to be the start of another of the annual and the biggest charity football match in the world of Soccer Aid for UNICEF 2024, and that will be happening at the home stadium of Chelsea Football Club of Stamford Bridge. And that will be happening on Sunday, the 9th of June, and it is going to be live on ITV1 and also STV, and also you can watch on Catch Up on ITVX. And just to remind you all that this is, of course, the biggest charity football match in the world, and that there's going to be a lineup of famous celebrities from the world of television and film. And also, just recently, there's been also some new announced players, such as legendary players who have played for England previously, the likes of Jack Wilshere and also Jermaine Defoe. And also, they've just announced, even also fresh from being the gladiator of Diamond in the recent revival series on the BBC of Gladiators, she will also be making an appearance on the World Soccer Aid World 11 side, and also along with loads of other people, including the legendary former Chelsea and also Czech Republic player who played also in goalkeeper position of Peter Cech, has also been announced to play for the Legends on the Soccer Aid World 11 side. And just a quick reminder also, guys, that even though that the event is not going to be happening until a few weeks' time, but you can still make a donation by going to the official website. And as always, since of course this charity football match event is all raising money of vital funds, and of course the famous tagline for the event, playing for every child, you can still give as little, as much as you like. And you can go to the official website of unicef.org/soccer aid, and you can donate, as I said, every little helps, no matter what you give. Even just £10 can go towards or giving, of course, life-saving food for children and families suffering from malnutrition, and also safe places to live from fleeing from, of course, recent conflicts that have been happening in both Ukraine and also in Israel, more specifically, as of currently that's been happening also too. And but guys, I know that also as well, I will be covering that in reacting to the match happening in just a few weeks' time, and I hope that you'll be joining us very, very soon for, of course, once again, the big, of course, one of the first big matches of course, of football before one of the big major tournaments of this year, the European Football Championships, will also be following the following week, also in Germany, from also the start of from the 14th of June, and for the whole month going into the final that will be played once again at the Olympia Stadion in Berlin. And of course, to find out who will become champions of Europe for another year, and also who will walk away with that once again prestigious Henri Delaney Trophy. Well, everybody, also just a quick update also that since we have now covered this show, and on behalf of my friend Ella Gretorix, and also her mum Emma, who also planned the tickets for us to for both of us to go and see it. Currently, there's been other shows booked as of currently, but there is some that I can actually confirm that we are, if you did actually see earlier on from previous shows, or upcoming shows that we could be going to see, we've got currently in the diary as a possible shows to go and see from later on this year. We're also having the return of the classic musical Chitty Chitty Bang Bang, which is currently also on a UK tour at the moment, with the role of Caractacus Potts, played by the amazing dancer and singer, Australian singer himself, of Adam Garcia, and unbelievably fresh from, of course, playing the role of Janine, of course, Butcher. I had to throw it in there, of course, if you know who I'm on about. The famous actress of Charlie Brooks, unbelievably, for the first time ever, is going to be playing a gender bend role, and of course take on the very famous villainous role of the child catcher. So unbelievably, she'll be the first female actress to play that a female take on that character. I have seen her already from pictures and also promotional material from since the show has just started on its tour, and it's currently at the New Theatre in Woking at the moment. But it is going to set to go to from later on this week to the new theatre in Wimbledon, which I had planned to go and see, but since other things have cropped up, unfortunately, I couldn't go there, unfortunately, just at the last minute. But I am planning to go and see it later on this year at the theatre in Norwich. the Norwich Theatre more specifically. And also with that being said, also since he happened to have told me recently after playing the role of Lysander in the Royal Shakespeare Company production of A Midsummer Night's Dream, that my friend Ryan Hutton is going to be currently, and he's just started performing in it, and he's just opened the show at the moment at the Trafalgar Theatre in, of course, London's West End. The production and play production of People, Places and Things is going to set to be happening at the moment, and that's going to be running until the first week of August. But we are going to hopefully get the chance to go and see it, because I've already seen a few snippets of what to expect, you know, visually from and promotional material from the show. So there's a few of those shows that I've got planned in the diary to hopefully see later on this year. But once again, also we also will be making a triumphant return also to the Vaudeville Theatre for also another Royal West End sing-along performance of 6, like we did, of course, just a few weeks ago of the Rain sing-along. And of course, you can actually watch that right now here on YouTube. And of course, we'll post a link down below in the description box below of this video, so you can go and watch it right after. And it's a very good watch indeed, because also we'll be marking the celebration of also the official 5-year anniversary, or no, sorry, my apologies, 6th anniversary of also of the current West End production when it started at the Arts Theatre from back in 2019, but also we'll be marking also the 5th anniversary of the first ever Royal West End sing-along performance that was done at the very same theatre from the 6th of June of that year as well. So, and also it happened to fall on my 30th birthday as well. And also there is a current also a recent news of the 3 people that have been also been chosen for the recent karaoke and also You Have a Voice competition. Unfortunately, I didn't get picked, unfortunately, for that, which is a real shame. But there is unbelievably exhibit going on at the National Theatre Gallery. The National Gallery in Trafalgar Square, and that's going to be happening later on in August as well. And the current West End cast of 6 are set to also have do a performance there from inside the gallery. So very exciting things also from in the UK Queendom as well. So at least it's a consolation that even though I'm missing out on seeing the show, and it would have been a nice 30th birthday present if I did get that chance to see it. But unfortunately, that's the way it goes, guys. But all that aside, of course, we're hoping to also see the next sing-along performance, very appropriately named the Queendom Royal West End sing-along, that will be happening later on that year, of course, that month, sorry, for that matter, later on the 25th of August, as it's been confirmed here, and that's also going to be a week after also the exciting and long-awaited reunion gig of the Fast Food Rockers once again performing at Lincoln Pride once again the week before on the 17th of the Saturday, the 17th of August 2024 also too. Well, with that being said, I think you must be bored of me rambling on there, but since there's been lots going on and I finally have got the chance to wrap this episode up, with that being said, that is it once again for another edition of Theatregoing Revival and my review once again of Standing at the Sky's Edge from the current West End production from the Gillian Lynne Theatre in, of course, London, as I've said already. And it's been an absolute pleasure to cover this episode, and I hope that we get to see it again in the future. Even though if we don't get a chance to see it before it closes in August, hopefully the legacy of this show will definitely go on from strength to strength, especially from seeing it earlier on. It was from last week. It definitely exceeded in my expectations, and I hope that it gets all the recognition it deserves, because honestly, from just a few days ago from seeing it, I've been very fortunate and grateful enough to have been given that opportunity, And dare I say it, I think as musical productions go, I think it has definitely been one of the top ones of this year so far of 2024, and I think it's going to take some beating, I think, for the remainder of this year. But that being said, of course, there are loads more in the pipeline that I'm hoping to go and see. And also, as I've said already, since I mentioned about that exhibition at the Arts, of course, the National Gallery there in, of course, Trafalgar Square in London, that'll be our first, hopefully, arts-themed event that we're going to go and see, which I know I haven't covered one that is been based around or to do with art, I don't think, since I started this. I know I did mention it all the way back in the second series, but I've yet to have done that, so hopefully that chance will come from later on this summer also too intended. Well, everybody, I was just about to say the battery's about to go on my camera, so thanks very much for watching this episode of Theatregoing Revival, once again, the 5th belated anniversary themed series. And I hope you've enjoyed this review, even though that I wish I could have got more footage, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. I think it's definitely been the latest show that I've seen so far in any of the, of course, productions I've covered as of this year. But even though that I sadly didn't get any autographs, there's still hopefully a chance to hopefully meet up with some of the people who were part of that production. And you still got a chance, a little snippet of what to expect, but I tried to give away as less spoilers as possible, but I definitely recommend you go and see it, hopefully. See it while you can, everybody. And with also that being said, as I've said already, I hope you've enjoyed this edition of Theatregoing Revival, and as always, don't forget to give it a like, comment down below on your thoughts of the show if you've been already went to see it also, and what did you also think of it. I would love to hear from you guys, because I actually haven't been hearing a lot from viewers of some of you that might be watching right now, but I would really appreciate your feedback and what I can do to improve this. I mean, especially with this series so far, it's definitely been the most successful one so far, and I've done more episodes than any other series that I've done covered with this, doing this as a vlog. And of course, this, as I said before, I mean, it's quite amazing to think that I've already have covered more shows on this series than any other series that I've covered of this in particular, of this actual vlog series. So that's quite the achievement so far, and may it long last continue, everyone. Well, and as I've said already, once again, thanks very much for watching another edition of Theatregoing Revival, and as always, until next time, au revoir, adios, au wiedersehen. And now to play us out, once again from the original soundtrack of Standing at the Sky's Edge, it's the song As the Dawn Breaks. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you hopefully very soon for another review of another particular West End production, or anything to do with the arts, of course, all here on my, once again, theatre vlog series of Theatregoing Revival. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
And so it goes. Or so it goes sometimes. Uncertain souls pinning too much on a single sunrise, greedily eyeing the horizon for a scratch card ex machina, a thunderbolt sign, writ large in neon if you like, a reassurance there'll be something left once the shine's worn off, that their foundations are solid, that they're stronger than the monolith. Oh, it's the hope that kills you, but also keeps you alive. Without it, this little box could never keep out the rain. So, they hold their breath, because this moment will never come again.
As the dawn breaks over roof slates, hope hung on every washing line. As your heart aches over life's fate, I know we never had much time for us to give, but we did. There's something in those deep blue eyes. As the light creeps over the houses and the slates are dark by rain, in this morning search for meaning, I hear a songbird's melody. I hear a songbird's melody, and she's singing just for me.
Are we done? Oh, goodness me. I did actually ramble on a little bit there, but there was so much to cover in that, honestly. But we definitely got that sorted out now. Oh my goodness me. And there's been so much going on, guys. And I know that, as I said, I know that I obviously take great pride in working and doing this and everything, but to try and fit it in with other things going on, it's not easy, guys, honestly. But honestly, as I've said already, that was definitely a real good show. Another, I think, as he said, of course, with one of the reviews there, by the independent newspaper, a real tearjerker. I definitely was moved to tears just from a few days ago when I saw the show. So, yeah, well, as I've said before, I mean, that's my second one of this year that's moved me to tears. That and why I stuck a flat my ass for England. That's unbelievable. Well, there you go, guys. As I've said before, that's just the pure magic of theatre and the true power, actually, of theatre for that matter too. I can actually get that right as well too. But well done, everybody. That been another successful episode. And as I would now like to wrap things up. That concludes another edition of my theatre vlog series and the 5th belated anniversary series also of Theatregoing Revival.